Today hi honey. Come here, honey. Come on. Sit there. Sit. Sit. Good girl. Good girl. Stay. No, stay. Today, I want to go over pH levels in water for our kitty cats. Water is the basis of all life, and our cats in particular are not great water drinkers in general. This is because they were descended from desert cats, and desert cats tend to not have the opportunity to drink a lot of water. We have to do things to help our cats. Honey's going to test out the hose water here. To help our cats get proper hydration. In particular, we want to look at the pH of the water that we're giving, because if our water is too alkaline for kitty cats, that can create an environment internally inside their digestive tract and the urinary tract where it actually supports the creation of crystals and urinary stones, so urinary crystals and stones. And obviously we don't want that for our kitty cats. In particular, our male kitty cats are really more prone to getting bladder stones and crystals. So we are going to do an experiment today with a lot of different waters, testing the pH levels of each of the individual waters. So it's really easy to do. I've got a little pH water testing kit. All it is just a dropper, and then it has a color code on the side. We're going to be using this to see where our variety of waters stand as far as how alkaline or how acidic. With humans, we need to be a little bit more alkaline with our water consumption. So 6.5 up to 8.5 is a good place for us as far as our pH levels. With cats, they're a little more narrow in their window of water, and they're a little more acidic in their needs. So they need to be 6.2 to 6.5. And sometimes it's kind of hard to find that range. We may have to do a mix of different types of waters that we offer so that we're getting that balance. Okay, let's jump in and get started. I've got 12 different water types that we are going to be looking at today. I tried to get brands that are pretty common nationwide, but you'll have your own brands locally that you need to look into, and it's really easy for you to do this at home. I've got Good & Gather, Target brand, purified drinking water, Good & Gather distilled water, Trader Joe's mountain spring water, Crystal Geyser alpine spring water, Great Value or Walmart brand purified drinking water, Good & Gather alkaline water, Dasani Fiji water, I don't know how to say this, Waikia, I don't know, it's Hawaiian volcanic water from a well water. We've got Arrowhead spring water, and this mason jar is my hose water, and this drinking glass is my tap water. pH is what we're looking at today, but we also have to keep in mind when we're hydrating our cats that water has contaminants, especially tap water and hose water. Those are going to be the highest risk for contaminants, and those contaminants can include pharmaceutical drugs, chemicals, too much chlorine, too much fluoride. There's a whole gamut of things that could be in the water. There are other tests that we're not doing today that will help you see how much particulates are in your water or contaminants, and that would be, like I said, a different test. Probably good to do that as well if you're planning to do tap water. Just so you can see, when I tested my tap water a few years ago, it was well over 900 parts per million. A healthy range of particulates in our water is between 50 and 300 parts per million. 900 is definitely way over the safe zone. Kitty bodies are much smaller than human bodies, and so they're more susceptible to the contamination more quickly. So we have to keep that in mind as well. So I've got these little cups, and I've got the labels on them for what we're going to be going over today of the different waters. I'm going to fill these up, and then we're going to come back and test with pH tester. So distilled water is good in certain situations, like it's good for homeopathy, but distilled water is devoid of all minerals. It's pure water, which is great in some situations. However, for long-term use, it's not sufficient for our kitty cats because they need minerals in their water. And the same is true with reverse osmosis filter systems in your house. Unless you have a reverse osmosis system that then puts back in the healthy balance of minerals that you want. And I think there are systems out there that do that, that strip it back and clean it and then put in those healthy minerals that you want in your water. My tap water, which we do have a whole house filter, and it does have a softener associated with it. So we use potassium chloride salts, which too much of that can be problematic for our kitty cats. So we are looking for water that is going to be a little yellow-green. That is where we want to be, yellow-green. Obviously, if it's red, it's too acidic, and if it's in the blue range, it's too alkaline for our kitty cats. We're just going to put 2 drops in each. Okay, so we don't have anything that is orange or red, which is super acidic, so that's good. We do have some that are yellow. So the distilled is yellow. The Good and Gather is a pretty good yellow. Dasani actually, and Great Value Purified, Dasani especially has a little tinge of green. We can see that this alkaline water is the bluest of all of them. But similarly, my tap water, which is filtered and then softened, the Arrowhead spring water, and the hose water are all about the same color blue. They have just a tinge of green. We've got a nice teal color on the well water from Hawaii. The Trader Joe's has got a good teal. Crystal Geyser's a little more subtle. And then Fiji. We're going to say in general that we're not going to do our blue waters, right? We're going to focus on those that have a little bit of green and a little bit of yellow to use for your kitty cats. Beep, beep. Can you go sit back on your blankie? Thank you. What I typically do is a mix of waters so that I can get the correct balance because it's hard with cats. Just to paint the picture, let's see what happens when we do that. So I use Trader Joe's spring water in my house, and in my outdoor fountain, I use the Good and Gather distilled. What happens when kitties have access to both of these? So we get a more green. It's a little more green. And that's what we want. We want to balance it out for them. So if you guys find a water that is the perfect pH level for our kitty cats, let me know.